Here are 15 habits that will help you ruin your life. Number 1. Queue ranked League of Legends instead of playing Norms or ARAMs or other games that reward their players and actually build a sense of community. It's important to remember that chasing a meaningless number that no one will ever care about, and getting madder than a mosquito at a mannequin factory when things cause that number to go down will slowly affect your mood, your patience, and how quickly little things in your life will make you angry. Number 2. Select a priority role when queuing instead of the role you want to play. Do this with the idea that you will be saving yourself time and will actually get to play the video game you sat down to play without waiting through 15 minutes of administrative bullshit before you can start drum setting 4 keys on your keyboard in anger over and over again. This will result in endless frustration when time after time you are met with sweaty basement dwellers who get cold feet when they don't like the team comp in their bronzy low game and decide to dodge just to be safe, resulting in you spending half your morning staring at a buggy ad-filled client instead of pressing buttons. But now you are also stuck playing the ginger stepchild role of solo queue when you do get into a game. Number 3. Trusting your support to have more than 3 brain cells. You think you signed up for the job of farming early and keeping yourself alive, but you make the mistake of not thinking you've been volunteered as this brand's babysitter, as he may not be using the zombie skin, but he walks like one straight into danger to get close enough to land a skill shot on the ghost of Zeri's past. Your expectations of being paired with a human being that has functional fingers and a monitor that is plugged in will lead to a level of tilt that will eventually affect your own gameplay. By 3 minutes in, everyone should know this obese catfish has learned TM28 dig from the Celadon department store, but apparently this brand is some uncultured cucklord who has never played Pokemon, and now you are surprised when the enemy team starts paying themselves from his bank account, which brings me to 4. Never mute chat. Sure, you just watched your support prove to be as useful as a condom at a convent, yet he completes the lore of his parents being siblings by immediately calling you out for not letting Zeri tug on your testes while trying to catch up to a catchfish who has already gotten past border patrol. Would have been a good idea. Here the right thing to do would be to put a proverbial muzzle on that wasted wank of a soul, but instead you keep his mic plugged in, opting to waste your own energy fighting with him, getting distracted from your own gameplay and reading his motivational testimonies all game of your performance. Number 5. Follow builds that you don't understand without researching what they are or why they work. Watch 3 minutes of one of the top ranked Caitlins in the world who is genetically Asian enough to create new metas in League of Legends and think you can just build the shoes he's building without realizing that you don't even have the right runes to make his strategy work. Double down on this and go against the recommended build for your champ in a way that makes you way worse off. Speaking of recommended builds, number 6. Play League of Legends without a helper app. You are of the mindset that Riot would just build in the quality of life features into its game, so you will wait for those while literally everyone else is using apps that tell them the best picks in each meta and the best ways to build them. You think going into games natty is effective while everyone else has full-blown scouting reports telling them which players will be free kills and which players have posters of Dantes hanging up in their bedroom. You like to guess when others have cooldowns available while they are using widgets to track when flashes were burned, which tells them when it's safe to go in for the kill, while you would rather just be frustrated for losing it. While everyone else can hold tab and see that they have cashed in more gold than you and thus it's a good idea to trade with you, you would rather just rely on your intuition, which has gotten you all the way to Bronze 3 after 10 years because you think Riot will just give features like this and comprehensive endgame reports that everyone else has while you just have a buggy client. You know, playing League without a helper app is like playing Scrabble against someone with a dictionary, and you realize that all of this is free to get by using a link in the description to get Professor for yourself, so you can use all of this, but instead you decide to be in the 2% of people playing at a disadvantage. Number 7. Never place words on the map. Treat these yellow cameras like your nuts, 2 of them comfortably in your sack at all times, as having vision is insensitive to people who are born blind, and in 2025 you can't afford to be cancelled, so instead you let a large flaming centaur plan quite an effective surprise party as you volunteer to remove the color off your screen to honor the colorblind and once again avoid getting cancelled at the expense of getting further behind in a game based around snowballing. Number 8. Expect your support to outgrow his fetal alcohol syndrome as the game goes on. This is where you live in the fantasy world where supports are the ones peeling for their carries instead of vice versa, where you are now using your toolkit just to prevent him from getting used as a fleshlight. Having the expectations that the second person in your two-person lane will actually show up to work instead of quite literally auto-walking into the enemy mid-laner who is 5 levels higher than him will take a toll on your mental health, as you came into the game expecting a kindergarten level of coherence out of him and now you are left immensely disappointed. This often extends into other teammates as you will see your jungler performing tower dives that take place 2 zip codes away from any chance of you being able to assist them in before they fuck off themselves. This is only made worse when later in the game you expect to at least have one player on your team who wasn't marinated in Mountain Dew Baja Blasts as a fetus, but surely you've been mistaken and now your disappointment is weighing on you. Your support remains the main antagonist to your goals while also being consistent in cheering you on from the dead bitch bench as he fails miserably on repeat. Number 9. Thinking that you just won the shit fest of the game you were just in for any reason other than the fact that the enemy team had a player who was actually griefing harder than your team. You create the narrative in your head that you just played well and can keep impacting games without acknowledging the enemy Malzahar who was literally shouting the location of his jungler in all chat all game while turning his own brain off and running down lanes for each of the morons on your team to earn free sacks of cash on him. You ignore the fact that players in this game go down these full-blown mental booms for reasons as little as their support getting a kill instead of them early in the game, and thus you gaslight yourself into thinking you won't have these same type of players on your team if you keep playing this game, and so that's exactly what you do. Number 10. You pick champs for the wrong reasons. Instead of sticking to one champ and building a level of comfort on them to get better, or picking a champ based off of team comp or a counter, you make decisions like picking Sivir this game because you got her Pizza Hut skin in a Hextech chest a few eternities ago, and now instead of having a routine where you get level 2 first, you spend your time in the first under-leveled fight trying to Uber Eats single slices of pepperoni pizza to one last hoodlum so that you can be the same age as the 2 people actively murdering the bald guy with a porn stash who got assigned to you in the buddy system. This results in you applying less pressure than a flat tire during any skirmish, which means that anyone in your life who is close to you will die an embarrassing death in front of you while you are unable to avenge them in any way. Your lack of understanding on this champ will result in you assuming that ulting and popping your ghost blade will negate the damage slow of a single Cho'Gath Q, but that's where you have mistaken Riot's intentional game design for something that makes sense, and thus you continue being about as useful as a dick pimple in team fights and you are met with staring at defeat more than someone with a foot fetish. Numero 11. You log into WoW thinking the rarest mob in the game that spawns like twice a day will just be waiting there for you to tame it. There are dozens of other hunters competing for that spawn and you decide that you need to eliminate the competition. You wait for the perfect moment to make your move and then it's time. The fallen elf tries to take his revenge on you, but you've packed Kool-Aids for this camp out waiting for that kitty to spawn and now he's a dead bitch. You start to feel the adrenaline of having killed off your competition, and now not just other hunters are in your sights. You start bullying magical midget wizards who aren't even trying to fight you. Then you turn your attention to druids, vowing to slay every other player in the area until you face the reality that you have made yourself public enemy number 1 among the alliance, and with that title comes failure. Number 12. Thinking Riot Games gives a shit about your feelings. You queue up mid because getting a hat trick on bot lane babysitter simulation isn't something you want on your bingo card, but they hit you with a psych bitch you will stay so far south you'd think Trump was president and Riot CEO building a wall down there. 13. You break the meta in ranked. You decide that meta, meaning most effective tactic available, means nothing to you and you select an Irish mage of short stature instead. The only thing is, this isn't a bad habit. It's a badass hobbit.
Is that a short joke?
14. Jerk off too much. Andrew Huberman says doing the solo queue while watching Bonnie Blue is bad for your health. I can't confirm or deny this, but my Twitter DMs are making it difficult. And last but not least, 15. You win a game and think that you will have fun if you continue playing more League of Legends.